Keeps going. That is so crazy. Get out of there. Wow. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, hey guys, welcome to the NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast, Sunday evening podcast. How is everybody doing today? I see I have an echo, and I'm trying to figure out where that's coming from. But in the meantime, while I figure that out, hey, we are in Georgia today with Southern Bells Paranormal from Dalton, Georgia. How you doing today, Heather?
I am doing good. I'm glad to be here.
Well, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
It is no problem.
Okay, hey guys, guess what? We are broadcasting live in the great state of Texas, international, Tokyo, Japan. We are also on Twitch and YouTube. So, guys, if you can't find me on my YouTube channel, please log in to one of the live streams that I am streaming from. But with enough said, let's get right into the podcast, guys. Heather, the first thing that caught me about you and your team is your name. Where did you get that name from?
Well, back in 2013, it was me and two other girls founded the group, and we were trying to find something that kind of resonated to us because we were an all girls team.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever we were doing it, we were just like, well, we're from the South, we're all Georgia peaches here, so why not just come up with something that will make us different than everybody else? So that's how we come up with the name, and it stuck with us
Well, you know
because
what?
we are sassy, we've got that attitude, and we know how to get it done.
Oh no. Well, you know what? Ain't nothing wrong with having a little attitude and a little sass. There's
It
nothing
comes
wrong with
along with the territory of having a. At the time, we were all girls group, and now we've added a few men because the females can't get along all the time.
Hmm. Was that such a good thing to do?
Well, I mean, the men are just mostly there for security purposes.
Okay. But it's mostly women that are running the show.
Yes, it's all women that actually do the investigations. The men just kind of hang out whenever we have our tours or things like that. They just keep us safe.
Okay. Now, I also forgot, we are also streaming live on Instagram, but no video, just audio. So if you guys would like, all you guys that are on IG that would like to come over to the stream and see this young lady and want to be hands on, feel free to do so. All right. Hey, tell me a little bit about your team. I'm really curious.
Well, I got the first time I went on a paranormal investigation was right before this group was founded, and I went on a tour, and the guide he wasn't really in it for the right reasons. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna name the team, but he was more in it for the glory and the money and all of that, and he wasn't about keeping people safe. And
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of good members that were in that team, but they had to deal with him until they could form their own teams. Well, whenever I went on this tour, I could feel like a presence, and then the girl I founded
Mm-hmm.
it with was Christy Bowers, and she was in that other group at the moment, and she was just kind of really drawn to me, and I had never really been around it, and I was kind of going through my first divorce, so my emotions were kind of all over the place, and I was very open. and she showed me this house that was next to where we were investigating, and there was a soldier trapped up in the attic, and she's like, "What do you feel?" And I could feel his emotions, and he was very sad and he didn't want to be there. And then all of a sudden, for the first time, I could feel somebody else's emotions, and I learned that I was an empath. And whenever I did this, I started crying a lot, and she kind of kept holding me back away from the rest of the group, and I didn't really know what was going on. Well, as we were taking the tour, we were going around the school, and at the time it was Old Eton Elementary School, and we came around the backside of this corner, and all of a sudden it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I didn't know what was going on, and I just started
Mhm.
screaming, and I fell to the ground, and there were three grown women that couldn't get me up off the ground. Their backs was ice cold, but they had scratches all over their backs. In the front, it was summertime, so they were pouring sweat, and we were just really trying to figure out what was going on. And I didn't know what was going on, but there was this tree that was called the safe place, and they
Mhm.
took me to this tree, and I was fine. But as soon as I tried to pull away from the tree, I got attacked again. And
Oh
apparently,
wow.
the host had like these attachments to him, and they started attacking me. And it was like draining my energy, and it was taking me over. And I was literally getting possessed by something I knew nothing about. And they literally had to carry me to the car and get me away from that area just to make it to stop. And it followed me, and ever since then I've had abilities, and I've been opening up to these things, and I got in contact with that girl and another member that was a part of that team, and then this other man formed a team, and there was like two or three different teams that formed out of that team that were actually good teams. And I was
Mhm.
like, I've got to learn more about this because I've got to protect people from things like this. And ever since then, I've just been doing what I can to help people better understand what's happening in their homes, and
Mhm.
to better learn about the paranormal. And I've learned myself that I have all these abilities that I knew nothing about. Like I'm a psychic medium, and I have the ability to see and hear spirits, and I can feel them whenever they touch me. Like they like to pull my hair or mess with my necklace, and I've had a lot of experiences over the year, but I've also learned how to close it down because sometimes it can get very overwhelming when you don't know what you're dealing with.
Oh wow. That sounds really interesting. All right, Hensley Paranormal, what's up, brother? How you doing today? Tonight we are talking with Heather Hartman of Southern Bells Paranormal out of Dalton, Georgia. So, if you guys, if you want to jump on the chat, you're more than welcome to ask this young lady any questions that you would like. Okay, you know what, man? I think that would freak me out too if something like that hit me with a ton of bricks. You know that hard.
Yeah, it was getting to where I was getting attacked without warning, and I couldn't control it, and
Hmm.
it was just so overwhelming. And I was seeing spirits like they were me and you, like they were right there in real life in front of me, and I could hear
Wow.
them, and it got crazy there for a while.
Well, it sounded like you had an awakening.
Yes, definitely.
Now, did you sense this when you was a kid, or?
Whenever I was a kid, like I was raised in a very sheltered home. I was taught not to believe in
Mhm.
things like this. Like my family still doesn't approve of what I do. But when I was a kid, I remember seeing certain things and hearing certain things. But my family's always like, "Oh, it's your imagination. You're just a kid. It's your imagination." So I
Mm.
didn't really put much thought into it, but I was always kind of intrigued about it. But I didn't understand any of it.
You know, it's weird how you're a kid and and you seeing things like that, and
Mhm.
your parents don't believe you.
Yeah.
And what's so crazy? What is the one thing that is very open minded the kids are very emotional. I mean, kids are, man, their minds are so special and unique because it's not blindsided by what's going on the planet. It's not brainwashed. I mean, it's just something that's really neat. And I hate it that when you get older, you stop seeing things, unless you are really gifted. But
Mhm.
I've seen so many paranormal shows where kids, when spirits contact kids because they're so open-minded, so
Yes.
emotional, and you're able to communicate.
Yes,
I
both
mean,
of my kids are sensitive to the paranormal.
and that is really cool. If you can train them to, take advantage of it. Most people think this is a curse, but it's really a gift.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You're
I've
able
actually
to go ahead.
I let him my oldest son is 13 now, but when he was 4, it's when he started seeing this little girl, and she's followed him his whole life now, and she's just been a guardian for him. And I've just recently started seeing her running around the yard again, but he's always been interested in it and he was never afraid of it. And I actually let him do training sometimes in the junior division so that I can actually teach him the rights and wrongs and the do's and don'ts of how to act.
Now you said junior division. Do you guys have a junior team?
Yes, we actually we train the teenagers whenever they're intrigued about it or they're learning about their abilities, and we'll take
Okay.
them out on trainings. We won't take them out on like real investigations or anything like that, but we will take them on the tours.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever we just get out, we have a lot of trainings, and when we get out there, we'll just do the field research and we'll let them take notes and use the equipment and learn about their own abilities.
And what age do you take these kids in?
Most of the time, we've had some 11, 12-year olds all the way up to 17 is junior division. And then after that, they can, when they're 18, they can come into the adult group.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for doing that because a lot of people would not take that responsibility on, looking after someone else's kid.
Hmm.
Especially when they heavily gifted and bad enough, their parents don't understand what they're going through. So, but you're
Yes.
there to, to make sure, tell them, hey, things okay, and you're in the
Hmm.
same situation that they're in. So you're able to help
Yeah.
them out.
Yeah, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can definitely open up things that is not very good, and you can get attachments very easily. And that's why we want to teach the children how to properly use the equipment and how to close things out and how to protect themselves,
Hmm.
and show them that it's not a game and it's not a toy, that it's very real.
Right. Now, tell me a little bit about your team.
Right now, we have about um, anywhere between 5 to 10 active members whenever we go to our tours. But a
Hmm.
lot of times, whenever we just go on our regular investigations, we'll just take like no more than 5.
Now, is
And
that five selective or
yes,
do they? Okay, so they are selective.
yeah. Well, a lot of them they'll work for different hours and things like that. But I'm still training a lot of the team, so I like to take
Hmm.
my more experienced people whenever we go on. Go to very specific places, like whenever we go to a private home or something like that to help a client,
Hmm.
because if I have to thoroughly train my team because I don't want them getting in a house or something and freaking the clients out because of not knowing how to act. And I think it's very important to I mean, we have our playtime, but whenever we're on an investigation, playtime's over with. So
Right.
I want to make
Now,
sure that they're not.
Yeah.
Go
It
ahead.
seemed like you've experienced that before because you mentioned it.
Yes. Well, I get a lot of people that come into it thinking that it's all for fun of it, you know.
Hmm.
And I also have had members where they want to freak out, and our number one rule is don't freak out in front of the clients. Like we always say, never go off alone by yourself. Do
Hmm.
not freak out in front of the clients, and never be rude or anything like that in front of clients.
Right.
And we don't provoke, and we don't. If we open ourselves up, we have to make sure that we close ourselves down so that nothing goes home with us.
Right. Now, I'm telling you, would break your rule because I'm always going off by myself.
Yes. Well, that's just a safety rule. It's just, if you go off by yourself, you just need to let people know where you're going, and so that we know exactly where you're at if something goes wrong. Because I do tend to come across some spirits that are not very nice,
Hmm.
and they I don't know, they just seem to be drawn to me. And
Hmm.
I just my number one goal is to keep my team safe.
Yes, and I totally agree with you on that. I got a lot of respect for my team, and they do whatever they can. We try to cover each other's back, make sure
Mhm.
everything is okay. And we also like to sage, we use sage after
Yes.
every investigation that I think we need to be
Yes.
saged in, but sometimes we forget.
Right. We've actually we went we had a tour one time, and I went down the rabbit hole, as we like to call it, and I got possessed by this mentally challenged little girl that was at this home. I think she's like
Hmm.
no older than 11. She may have been younger than that. And she attached herself to me. My whole face changed, my demeanor changed, and my voice changed. And I took on this child during a spirit box session, and they had to pull me out of it. Well, she went home with us that night, and we had to take her back the next day
Oh
because
wow.
one of my members messaged me and said, "We got a problem." And I said, "Yep, um, Sarah came home with us, and we got to take her back." So we had to take that little girl back, and we left an offering and explained to her that she can't go back with us.
Was she willing to go back?
Yeah, she was just looking for some friends, and she got lost because she had never been out of her home before.
Hmm.
And back in the olden days, when you had a mentally challenged child or someone with disabilities, they hid them away in a bedroom, and she had never really been downstairs before until she started coming out during our tours and interacting with us. We've got pictures of her, we've got videos of her messing with the cat balls, and we've got the audio and the video of where she was contacting us. But once we explained to her that we'd be back, she was okay with staying because there is a little boy spirit there that she likes to hang around with. So
Hmm.
she was willing to stay there.
Hmm. Okay. Now you said she was mentally challenged.
Mhm.
Now the question I have for you is, do you think she's still mentally challenged after her being gone?
Yeah, I don't. I honestly don't think she even really knows that she's dead because of her disabilities.
Really?
Because
Wow.
she really didn't want to come downstairs. She's like, I'm not allowed downstairs because
Hmm.
one of my other members could actually see her, and she actually got a picture of her, and she could hear her and interact with her, and we talked a lot with her through the spirit box. But yeah, she didn't like coming downstairs. She wouldn't even really come off the stairs until that day that she came home with us.
It's so weird because she didn't even she was attached to you, but she didn't even think about her parents.
Well, she did. She was always like, My mommy don't let me come downstairs. I'm afraid to go downstairs because I'm afraid of getting in trouble.
Do you think her
So,
mom was there?
yes, we've actually encountered her mom before, and her dad really did not like us talking to her at all. Like the whole family was there, and they were more aggressive towards the fact that we were communicating with the daughter, and they didn't
Mm-hmm.
really like it that much. So we had to explain that we're not there to hurt anybody or to harm anybody, and that we're just there to talk to them.
And did they accept that?
Not really, but that was more towards the end of our time at this particular place because it was getting to where we weren't allowed to be there anymore just because they had to fix the building back up.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they talked to us and the little girl communicated with us a little bit towards the end there again, but they never really accepted the fact that we were there.
Do you think any spirit parents accept you, any paranormal investigator talking to their children?
No, not at all. Because it's just like in real life. You don't want strangers talking to your kid and they don't
Exactly.
understand what's going on. And especially back in the day, they don't understand why we're there using all the equipment. And a lot of times we'll get spirits that don't want to communicate with us and they don't want us in their space. And that was like at the Jasper jailhouse where we just did a tour there. The spirits did not want us there at all. And they told us that they didn't want us there
Excuse me.
because
Wow.
it's still their home and they treat it as
Mm-hmm.
such, even though they may not be the owners anymore. We
Mm-hmm.
still have to respect them. And
Exactly.
when we go to their homes, we have to respect them. But they don't always
Yes.
give the same respect back.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, you would think respect would go both ways, but it don't always work like that.
No, especially when you're dealing with the more the high class society of back in the olden days. They really don't want you in their homes.
Yeah. Do you think they're high society? Do you think that they're high society in debt? Do they think they feel like they're upper class in debt?
They still, yes, they still feel like they are above us and they do not want us in their home. And a lot of them don't even realize that they're dead. And they're like, you need to get out of my home.
Mm, wow, that is something else. Now, your
Yes.
team. What exactly do your team do when you want to investigate? There's so
Whenever we
many
do
different.
our investigations, I
Go ahead.
have one other member that will, she's a leader. Our other co founder moved to Maryland, so she doesn't
Mm,
really get to be active with us. But I do have another team leader, and if we have our big crowds whenever we do our tours, then we'll separate and do tours, and the other members will separate off with us. But whenever we go to just small client houses or things like that, it's mostly just me and the team leader that do a lot of the work because a lot of the younger ones, the men will just want to stand around for security purposes, and our other members, we're still trying to coax them into learning the equipment and using the equipment. Even though my team is 13 years old, I still have to retrain people a lot because I can't hold on to members a lot because of their schedules.
mm-hmm.
And whenever they get a new job, it conflicts and they're not able to be active with me. So when the ones that are active, I've started training them on the equipment and how to use it and how to do the EVPs and the recordings and how to be hands on and open up. And when we've started going on trainings, a lot of times my team attracts those not so nice spirits and it runs off a lot of new members because they think it's a joke when they come into it and they think it's going to be fun, and when they learn that it's not a joke and it's very serious, I don't think they're really mentally prepared for it,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of scares a lot of members off.
Do you have a hard time finding members?
I do.
How big is your town?
we're a pretty big town, but we're right in the middle of the Bible Belt, so
Oh,
it's very frowned upon. And when we do what we do, a lot of people will frown upon it and look down on it. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, I can't do that. I'm a Christian. I can't do this. I can't do that." And I'm like, if you would get involved with it and see what we do, you would learn that it's not that scary, and it's
right.
just another way of communicating. Like none of my family does it except for my cousin. She goes with me, but none of my other family approves of it. But a few people that I
Yeah.
work with have started coming with me and things like that. But it's hard for me to find people that actually want to be a part of it because they don't believe in it.
All right. And it's crazy because you mentioned that whole Bible Belt thing.
Hmm.
I went to deep East Texas and I experienced that firsthand.
Yes.
And
It's chasing devils, is what my family tells me. They said that's the devil's work.
I've never experienced anything like that. And it was crazy.
Yes.
It was a church on every corner.
Yes.
It seemed like there were more churches than there were grocery stores or
Yep.
convenience stores there.
Yep.
And I'm like, I mean, I was sitting in the back seat and I was counting the churches as we
Hmm.
were leaving the town. I've counted uh, 7 to 13 churches on one street.
Yes.
And I'm like, whoa, I guess I am into the Bible Belt
Yep.
area because it's, yeah, and the whole town was whole creepy. It was weird. I
Hmm.
don't understand that. But
But
we,
you get a lot of these older people, they don't believe in it, and
hmm
they'll straight up tell you it's devil's work.
well, this day and age, everything's devil's work.
Yep.
Man, if you stir rice with a fork instead of a spoon, it's devil's work.
Yes. Well, that's like my family. Just recently, like the past maybe, I think I've been doing it about 3 or 4 years now. I've started getting into witchcraft, and that's something that's another abilities that I have learned that I've had over the years with my psychic abilities and things like that. And my
Hmm
family definitely does not approve, but they're starting to open up more to it
hmm
because when I do things and it actually helps, like when I make home remedies or things like that, and it's good for healing, then they're starting to accept it more.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, quick shout out. What's up, Renee from Cobra Paranormal? Hey, how you going? How you doing over there? I hope you guys enjoying the weather, man. Man, your parents. Are your mom and your dad still around?
Yes, my parents
Mm,
separated when I was 18 months old, so they live in different areas, and I currently actually live with my grandmother. She's raised me, but
mm.
yeah, she's 80, so she's set in her ways, and she doesn't really approve of
Yeah,
anything that I do.
yeah. I was about to ask that question. Grandmas. Now, where did you get the gifts from? Was it grandma or was it your mother?
Um, I think both of my families or all of my members have abilities. They just don't really like to admit it.
Mm-hmm.
But neither one of them really approve of anything that I've ever done. So I just kind of go off on my own and do my own thing.
Now, if you was to go off and be this $1 billion a year paranormal investigator, you on TV, you're doing this, you're doing that, do you think they will appreciate you then?
No, they would still
No?
disapprove of it.
Wow. If you gave back to the
I've had a
church,
tough love family my whole life. My family
well,
doesn't express love towards each other.
you know, uh, that's sticky situation right there.
Yes.
So what did your husband think? Is he cool with it?
No, not really. He doesn't approve of it either. Like, we're always on again, off again because he doesn't approve of any of it.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, it seems like you're a loner, my friend.
Yes. That's also another reason why I can't really keep members because I don't really tolerate the acting out behavior during investigations because I do take it very seriously. I mean, I cut
Hmm.
up and I go on and things like that, but there's a time to play and there's a time to be serious with it. And
Hmm.
a lot of them don't really like the way I run things just because I do try to keep them safe and I don't think they're trying to understand that.
Hmm.
And I do want them actually participating whenever they do go on the investigations. I don't want to do all the work. If you're going to show up, you're going to work. And
Right now,
it gets frustrating.
yeah, I understand that. What's the age of your senior members?
They're mostly the ones that are actually active, or a lot of them are in their 40s, some are in their
Okay.
30s, and things like that. And it's just hard getting everybody together. I think our youngest member right now on the biggest team, we let him join. He's 17. And we do have a 20-year-old, and then the rest of them are, and we have two 20-year-olds, and the
Oh
rest
yeah.
of them are the older ones. But when you have the ones that have a lot of abilities, it
Hmm.
it's hard for everybody to agree on the same thing. And I have to explain to them when we're doing tours that people can't see what's in your head. So I know they may have divisions and things like that, but
Hmm.
the the clients want to know what's going on, and I like to use the equipment and get evidence so that everybody can see and have proof because not everyone's going to believe what they're being told because of what one person is seeing in their head.
Hmm. Now, is it possible that you have different people with different gifts? Is it possible that everybody on the investigation can see the same thing, agree on the same thing? How often does that happen with you?
Well, when we're actually in sync pretty good, we actually bounce off of each other. There's like three of us females that bounce off of each other, and we
Hmm.
can all see the same things and we can all feel the same things, and we all know what's going on. And whenever we'll do like the spirit box sessions, or we'll do our meditations, or more like our, I don't really want to call it a seance, but I guess it's kind of like that because we're all
Hmm.
picking up on the same thing, and we can all tell each other the same, like we can finish each other's sentences, and we're just bouncing off of each other, and we're just really hitting it on point. And we've gotten information out of the spirits that nobody knew except for not even the historical people. They had to go back and look at the books and be like, "Oh my God, you're right." And
Hmm.
we're like, "Yeah, we saw it, we lived it, we could feel it, we know, we were told it."
Hmm. Now, you mentioned historical people.
Yes, like we like to go to a
Awesome.
lot of historical buildings, and we work
Hmm.
with the historical society a lot, and we always like to whenever we find out information, we like to get the facts about it and like to get the backstory, and we like to see the history. So we'll
Hmm.
ask them to pull out the books so we can confirm it.
Wow. The books in Georgia is pretty big
Yes.
because Georgia has a lot of history.
Yep. And we
You
like to
know,
find out, like when we confirm names of children and things like that and their ages, it's just phenomenal because we won't know nothing about any of it until we pull out the family history books and all of that.
are you guys able now? You say you're dealing with the historical society. Are you able to get into any old plantation homes?
We have not currently gotten into any of the plantation homes. We are working on places like that. We've mostly just gotten into the Hamilton house. We've been in the Tabor house. I guess it could kind of be considered a plantation home. And we've been in the Jasper jail. We've been in the Wright Hotel, and there's just a bunch of the individual little homes that were owned that we
Mm-hmm.
have been in.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yes.
Are you able? I mean, golly, from Georgia, there is so much history.
Yes.
Oh my God, dude, I would love to go investigate Georgia for a day.
Come on, we'll show you some places. One of our favorite places is actually Resaca Confederate Cemetery. The spirits will
Mm-hmm.
talk to you all day long there, but when the sun goes down, it's a whole different place.
The whole
All of
different.
Resaca turns into a whole different ball game.
Oh, I bet, boy. But when that sun goes down, it's something totally different. I
Yes,
totally agree with you, man.
they start escorting us out, and it's time to go, or you're going to start dealing with people that you don't want to deal with, and it ain't the
All
same
right.
ones you've been
Hey,
dealing with.
okay. We have a Mr. Jerry. Jerry, would you like to pop in for a minute and ask Heather a couple of questions? All right, we're gonna do so. So Mr. Jerry's gonna pop in for a minute and ask you a couple of questions if you don't mind.
Alrighty.
Let's see.
Good evening.
Hello,
How
hello.
you doing, brother?
All right, all right. I just wanted to say hi. Just that was it. I actually didn't have any questions. Just wanted to come on board and say hi and hope everything's good.
Well, thanks for
All right,
joining
well,
us.
appreciate you coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a while, brother.
Yes, sir, it has. Hey, and I'm still trying to get down to South Texas.
Yeah, that's another reason why I kind of wanted to join. I'm still working on that. I've been emailing people, making contact with a bunch of people, trying to get an investigation going for November, so that way, if and when y'all come down, I can have y'all ready with something.
Yes, sir. Well, you know what, man? I appreciate all of your hard work and dedication to the paranormal field. And I know you're a hard working man.
I
You know what
do
I'm
have
saying?
a friend that's living in Texas, and I'm making get y'all in their house because they said that it is very haunted.
Oh, wow. What part of Texas?
I'll have to ask again to make sure because I don't really remember where she said, but I think it's more towards the middle of Texas.
Oh, Central. Well, hey, that's where I'm at.
Mhm.
Yeah, right up your alley there, Terry.
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Right up my alley.
and she lives in a big two-story house. It's
Mm.
really old.
Okay, well, you know what? If you find that out, we will definitely give her some answers.
Yes, I will definitely get the information. She was actually one of my members, and she just up and moved to Texas not even a month ago to
Mm.
be with some people out there.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know what? Go ahead and look that up for me, and we will gladly help her out. Say, Jerry, you didn't tell me, man. West Texas ain't no joke, bro.
Yeah, I'm telling you, nothing but cotton fields, red dirt, and cornfields.
Hey, man, I drove 13 hours.
Yeah. Well,
To
hell,
work.
where I live, I can make it up there to North Texas in 9 hours. You must have took the long way because when I used to live there in Austin, I used to make it there in about six and a half.
Well, yeah, I make it 6.5, but hell, man, I had to go there and turn around and drive back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's like 13 hours round trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Hey, like I said, glad to be coming on the show, bro. If you got any questions for this young lady, feel free to jump back in, and just let me know.
Will do. Thank y'all, and we'll see y'all or talk to y'all later. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Yes, sir. All right. Well, one thing about me, Heather, I always like to preach prayer unity. Even some teams might go for it, some teams might not. It depends on the individual. I always say so. Have you came across any teams in your town that that giving you trouble because of certain locations? They're claiming certain locations.
Well, whenever I was, I'm not gonna name any of the teams or anything, but whenever we were like hosting a lot of tours every single year, we were getting into these good locations.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that was actually getting into it with us, he was one of the ones that formed a team off of the other team, and he was our
Mm-hmm.
sister team, and he got out of it because he couldn't leave the ladies alone and everything else, but he was still getting my team into the historical places, and he got to where he got money hungry. And there was another team that they're a pretty famous team, and this team come in and was like, oh well, I'm going to take over all these locations. So they had the money and we didn't. So they was like, well, this team's going to pull in more because they're on TV, they're getting all this evidence, they're getting this, they're getting that, blah blah blah. And that team that come in and took everything over literally took 5 different historical locations away from me,
Oh
and
man.
they ended up doing everyone so dirty. They did the historical society dirty, did not hold up to their end of the bargain, and they literally lost everybody's chances of even getting to investigate Whitfield County or Murray County, their historical places again for a long time. Like they've literally been ran completely out of Georgia. Like they're not even allowed to investigate anywhere in Georgia. Like they're not getting any places anymore. They had to go up towards Tennessee because their name, their reputation was so badly tainted because of how they did everybody and how they did all of the historical societies that they literally lost everything because of their
Oh wow. That's
greediness.
awesome.
And
Because
we're not like that. We don't charge people an arm and a leg for our tours. Like there's people that will do the same places that we do, and they'll charge like 60 $70 and more per person to do
oof,
the same exact things that we're doing. And we're like, no, that's not practical.
how much
So
you
we
charge?
only charge like $20 a person for our tours, and we still do
Okay.
plenty of money. And we always, always, always we give half to this historical society. Like whatever we make, they get half of what we make, and then the other
Okay.
half, that's what we use to buy our new equipment with, and that's what we use to go on our field trips whenever our members can't afford to go on field trips. We never charge people to go out and investigate their homes or anything like that, or when we cleanse their houses. I don't charge for any of that stuff. Like, we're in this together, and when we have sistering teams, we'll go help them out. They'll help us out, and if somebody needs help, that's what we're here for. We're there to help them.
Now, have you ever investigated any public lands?
Yeah, we go to we like to go up towards Ringgold a lot. We'll go to a lot of different local cemeteries, and we go to a place that is called Chickamauga Battlefield. We've
Mm-hmm.
been all over that place investigating. Like you're allowed to go to these places as long as it's during the hours and you can investigate. There's cemeteries, there's towers, of course, there's battlefields, and we go to a lot of different battlefields and things like that. And we've been towards Carter's Lake. We like to go to the Carter's Lake Dam there, and we've
Mm-hmm.
actually crossed over Native American spirits there. But anytime I go to Native American land, I always make an offering first before I go on their land.
It's weird because this whole country is their land,
Mhm. Yeah.
and man, I think everybody should do that, make an offering,
Yes.
But some people are a little bit different than others.
Yeah. I like to respect the spirits that way. At least they know that we're there to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to, if there's one that needs crossed over, we try to deal with that the best we can, and we try to help the spirits as well, because it's got to be troubling being trapped.
Yeah. Either you're trapped or you don't wanna move on for some weird
Yes.
reason. I respect either way. If they want to move on,
Mhm.
we can do that. If they want to stay and protect certain properties or lands,
Yes.
I respect that. And I'll leave them be.
Yes.
But I'm definitely, yeah. I can't even imagine. I know it's going to happen to me one day, but it's going to happen to everybody. But
Yes.
I'm just, yeah. When I decide to go, I want to be able to go.
Mhm.
But question for you, Heather, do you think spirits that are crossed over, do you think they can come and go as they please? They can, jump in on your family, on their family, check them out, then bounce out whenever they're checking on them?
I've
Or do you
actually
think,
had two. Yes,
go ahead?
I do believe so. I've had two family members that have passed away in my house, and even though I don't feel them all the time, I do believe that they come back from time to time. And I've recently had a cousin that passed away, and I know he comes back and visits his family, like his mom. He visits. We felt him at the gravesite. We felt him in different places. Like the week after he died, like his parents literally felt him embrace them. And
Mm,
that's when people really start getting into this, is when they have somebody close to them die,
hmm
and they feel them come back. That's when they start believing in it.
Right. Yes, I can agree with you on that. Now, do you think spirits forget things?
Sometimes, but I feel like it might take. They want their story heard and told first, a
Hmm.
lot of times, before they can move on and before they can forgive. Because a lot of times they want people to know what happened to them
Hmm.
and how they died, or if they held a grudge for so long. I'm sure we've had some that just wanted to be heard and wanted their side of the story told.
Right.
And then it's more peaceful once they've people have acknowledged them and respected them.
Right. Now, do you think that how can I say this? Do you think they forget the stuff that's least important and remember the stuff that's important, like their family? And for some reason, I always think that when I pass away, I'm only going to remember my family. I'm not going to worry about all the stuff that the world brought to me because at that point, everything's irrelevant and don't even matter. But the things that matter now, since I am gone, is my family, and that's why certain families have guardian angels.
Yes.
As
Yeah,
family members.
I believe in that, because I've had a lot of family members that pass away, and I know that they are guardian angels now, and they'll protect certain people in their lives. That's like my husband's brother is his guardian angel, and I have actually encountered, like, I never met him in real life, but
Hmm.
I have encountered him in the afterlife, and I cannot even go to his crash site of a night, because I will physically be taken over by what I seen, how he died and everything else, and it was just something crazy. But yes, he's definitely watched over my husband and myself, and I'll know he's around because he will always come into like a form of a butterfly and just be so attracted to my husband. Like the butterfly
Hmm.
will just follow him around everywhere. And I'll always see a half rainbow. It's just a half of a rainbow, and I know when he's around.
Oh wow. Why do you think spirits do that instead
Well,
of just
when
going on and just living the rest of their lives in heaven?
well, before he died, he was like what 17 when he died, 16
Oh
when he
wow,
died.
very young.
He always told people that he had a higher power, that God had a higher power for him, and that
Hmm.
there was a bigger reason for him, and he wasn't going to be around long. And ever since he's passed away, he's brought my husband through um, two gun accidents and just several car wrecks and everything else, just where he protected him and everything like that. And he's protected the family a lot, like things that you think somebody couldn't live through. We know for a fact that he was there to look after him for sure.
Oh, cool. Okay, man. What do you think about Hollywood? Let's talk about Hollywood and the way Hollywood how they you know they kind of present us in the wrong way.
Yeah, a lot of the shows I don't really watch because I don't really believe in the way that they are,
Uh
and I
huh.
don't like the ones that will provoke and be like, "Come at me, bro," attitudes, and they will exaggerate everything, and every little dust orb is an orb to them. It's like it's actually something, and I don't believe that because literally 9 times out of 10, it's not something paranormal, and it can be debunked.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to spend hours and hours and hours at a certain location just to get like 1 hour worth of evidence for a show. They'll spend weeks at a time at a place just to try to get enough evidence for a show. And
And they don't make it.
I like watching some of the shows, but most of the shows, I don't believe they're real.
Yeah. Let's talk about your state. They say Savannah is the most haunted city in your state. Do you
Yes,
believe that?
I like going down there. Like there is so many locations down there in that area, and even
Hmm.
in the upper northern Florida. You go down through there, and every single house it feels like it's haunted. Like literally every location, you can feel something somewhere, and all of the cemeteries are just it's like they're all alive.
Really? Why do you think cemeteries are alive?
There's just so much energy. Like if you get a location that people don't really investigate at and you go
Hmm.
to it, there is so many spirits that want to communicate with you. And it's just unreal because they don't really encounter people like us
Mm.
that
Now,
can actually.
why do you think spirits haunt their own cemeteries?
I don't know. You think they wouldn't, but a lot of times they feel like that's their final resting place, so they feel like they have to guard the place. And
Hmm.
a lot of times, if they had a bad home life, they don't want to go back there, but they want their story told, but they just want people to respect them and just to take care of them. Like if I go to a cemetery or something and I see trash, I'm gonna clean it up. Or if I see an overturned headstone, I'm gonna clean that up. And they just want to be respected.
Right. Now, do you think spirits walk among us like everyday
Sometimes,
life?
like I yes, I have encountered like especially this little girl that has followed my son forever. My husband has actually started seeing her. He's seen her like 5 times now in the yard, and she just runs around like a hyper little toddler because she's literally like maybe 5 or 6 or so.
Mm.
And I do have the abilities to see them. I've closed most of it off, and I've just recently started being able to see them again. But most adults have closed off that part of their mind, so they don't see and they don't hear. But I always tell everybody that everybody has abilities. You just have to learn how to open them up. And
Exactly.
I do believe they walk among us, but a lot of people never noticed them.
Why is it? I mean, you say that people need to open their mind up and able to see these individuals. Do you think if people was to open their mind up and see these things, do you think people would be a little bit more accepted of spirits walking around, or will they try to do something to you know get rid of them?
It really depends on the person because a lot of people will be terrified by it and they will literally be like, I need this out of my house. I need this away from me. And it goes back to not everybody accepts it, and it literally freaks a lot of people. Like, I will go out on all these investigations and everything else, and I will be fine. I'm like, can somebody show me some sort of attention? But if you're in your home and that is your personal space, it's a whole different ball game. You're trying to protect your kids, you're trying to protect your family, and if you see something at your house, then it's like, oh no, you go into protection mode. That's like when I see that little girl. It did freak me out when I saw her, because I didn't know if it was really a little girl or what it if it was something different. But
Hmm.
I have confirmed that it was my son's guardian angel. But it still kind of creeps me out when I see something at my own house.
Yeah, I can imagine that, especially a little girl.
Yes,
Why do you think these kids don't want to be with their parents? 'Cause-
a lot of times they honestly can't find their way back to their parents if they died, of course, in different time frames or something like that,
mhm.
and they don't really know how to get back to them, and they'll just be.
They're just wandering around trying to find them. And
Yeah, we did have the Native American girl that would cross over. She wanted to be back with her family, but if they're young little kids, they just want to play. It's just like in real life. They have the energy of a toddler and they want to play, but
But you,
they don't even
yeah,
know
that's
they're
weird.
dead. They're just wandering around. But I have had a lot of them that look for their mommy, and whenever Sarah was downstairs and she was taking over me, first thing she said is, "Where's my mommy? Where am I? I want my mommy." Like, a lot of them will try to find their parents, but they don't know how to get to them. And even so, if with crossing over, their parents may not be in the same location and they can't always find them. But a lot of times we do try to cross the ones over that do want to be back with their family.
Because I've always thought that if family member was to pass away, that family members will always be there, still,
Hmm.
no matter what. You will always
Yeah.
be in their realm, and you will be able to go and live forever peaceful with your family members. So, I mean, for a child, especially a child so young that could not find his parents, that's mind-boggling.
Yes. Well, a lot of times they don't really know how to cross over into that other realm, so they will attach themselves to people that can hear them and see them and feel them, just to have somebody to guide them through. And they just, when they get stuck, it's definitely hard on them. And I try to help them locate their parents the best I can, but it's not always the case because a lot of times they're too scared to cross over
Hmm.
and they
Now,
don't know if their family's there or not. So
you said,
they're
I'm glad you
scared.
mentioned that word, crossover. Why do you think that
Hmm.
so many spirits don't want to cross over?
scared.
They're scared of where they might go. Like, if they lived a very bad life, then they don't want to go to live in hell. But a lot of times too, they feel like they have to protect their family and they don't want to think about their family here suffering, so they try to guide them and protect them. But the the really bad ones are bad about not wanting to cross over because, well, they don't want to be in their eternal hell for the rest of their life.
Right. Now, do
So,
you
or their
think
eternity.
there's an eternal hell, or do you think you're just going to be punished for your deeds that you committed on this earth, and that's going to be your hell?
Well,
I mean,
I do believe in heaven and hell, and I do believe that the end of time will be here, and everybody will answer for everything, and there, everyone has to pay for their life, and I do believe that they will go to that other realm and that other place that nobody wants to go to, and they will be
yeah.
forever tormented for the rest of their
Right
days.
now, do you believe that there's a point in between, like a
I
purgatory?
do believe so because of the fact that the Bible does say that every dead shall rise. So I do believe that they are still dormant at times, but I do believe that that you do have the ability to cross over to the other side, but I do think there is that other realm where they can get stuck and they don't know how to cross over. Like especially if they had unfinished business before they died, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
them will get stuck and be like, "Well, I still have business that I need to attend to." Like even in death, if they had something that needed to be done, they still try to do so.
Hmm. Interesting. Uh, yeah, that's crazy. Okay, well, you know what? I am trying. I want to ask you a question. If you was to have this perfect team, and let's say, for instance, uh, CBS, ABC, one of these major broadcasting people came to you and said, Heather, I want to tell your story. I want everybody that's available on your team. We're going to go do this. Would you do it?
I would
Would you
definitely
sell your
love doing
soul to go
something
do
like that.
something like that?
Mhm.
Would you do it?
I would.
Why?
Just because I feel like more people need to know about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's not enough real teams that are actually out there telling it. It's mostly like the fake on TV, and I want people to see the real side of it. I don't want them
Well,
to just be like, "Oh, it's just a big excitement, it's a big scare." No, I want them to see the intimate moments like we have when we actually do get to reunite the family members, or when we actually do get to tell their story of what really happened. Like you get so many spirits that died an untimely death and they were done wrong and they were innocent or they were found guilty but innocent, and they didn't nobody believed in them and they were killed for it, and
mm-hmm.
they just want their story told, and there's so many out there that need to know the truth about the paranormal.
Mm. Now, some people would say, and I'm just saying, not me, some people say when a paranormal team does something like that, they're selling their soul to the devil because what happens after that is once you sign that contract and they give you all this money, that you will end up like the Zach. I'm not gonna mention his name, last name, but that you would end
Yeah.
up like all the rest. Do you think that's
Well,
possible?
if I felt like it would, I would definitely think about it long and hard before I did make a decision on it. Because if I felt like it was something that was gonna in turn ruin who we really are as a team and what we are to do, then I wouldn't want somebody to show me as something being fake. It's if I had to fake my way to make it, then that's not something I'm willing to do because I want to stay true to myself. And if it come down to it to where it wasn't going to be the way that it really needed to be, then I don't care
Hmm.
how much money you pay me. I'm not going to change who I am as a person. And if it wasn't really going to be to help people or to help them see the truth, and it was all going to be fake, then it wouldn't be something that I would be interested in, because
Hmm.
there's so many fakes out there as it is, and I'm not
Right.
willing to be fake just for the
Right.
fame and the money.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Let's talk about some of these locations that you've been in. How much money you willing to spend to go into some of these locations?
Well, most of the time we'll do like bulk places, and I think we've always used the money from the team, like when we make off of our tours and things like that. We've got a lot of money saved up for that. We've spent like $300 for a whole team, and we really budget where we go. If we can
Hmm.
get in for a good price, then we do. Like we're talking about going to Hell's Bar Dam and renting the floating cabins that's off of the on the water there, and do the investigations there. And I think it's like $200 a night or something like that for us to go
That's
out
not
there and
bad.
do a whole investigation. We go to places like people wouldn't even think about being for investigations. Like you can go to Hell's Bar Dam and take their haunted tours and all that, but nobody's really going to think about going out there on the actual lake and camping out in one of the cabins and doing an investigation that way.
Mm.
So we thought about going to Brushy Mountain and places like that, but I really don't want to spend like no more than like for the entire team. Like I wouldn't go any higher than like 500 or things like that, because there's so many places around here where we can get in for cheaper. But a lot of times, if we do go on field trips and we haven't gotten a lot of money saved up, we'll go somewhere where it's like $20 a person or $30 a person, when we don't have
Hmm.
that many people that are actually going on the investigation.
Now, do you think it's okay that people charge investigators to go into certain locations?
I feel like if it's to help restore the place, then I'm all about it. But if it's literally just places where they let anybody and everybody come in and do whatever they want to do on the investigations, like they can bring demons or whatever like that, I don't think it's right, and I don't take my team to places like that. That's
Hmm.
why I don't like going to places that cost a lot, because if there's been a lot of people in and out of there, there's no telling what they've brought in and what they've attracted. And if they don't want you crossing anybody over, and then you get in there and you deal with somebody that just wants crossover, I
Hmm.
personally, as an empath, cannot handle something like that.
Oh wow. Okay.
But I mean, if it's somewhere that it's literally going to help restore the building, I don't mind it. But if they're
Yeah, I
not
don't
even
mind it
fixing the
either.
building up or anything like that, they're just letting it be run down and they're charging an arm and a leg, I don't want to go to places like that.
But man, Georgia is sort of like Texas. But I'm not talking as far as area wise because there's nothing bigger than Texas than Alaska.
Mhm.
Like I was telling Gary, it took me 6.5 hours to get to North Texas, and I'm
Mhm.
still in Texas. That's how big
Yeah.
this place is. And I know that I'll probably pass in a small town where I know that there's a haunted location there, but nobody's been
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
Nobody's even thought about it. I'm those one of those guys. I'm that type of investigator. Like I have to be that first one to
Mhm.
be in a certain location.
Yes.
Uh,
I like
because
going I like going to all the little hidden cemeteries that are way off the road that nobody knows about, or all the
exactly.
little hidden abandoned places where nobody thinks about going. But if you get, I always, always, always got to get permission from the owners first before I go anywhere. If you can get permission into those places where nobody has ever investigated, it gets pretty wild.
Yeah, and that's where that word is because I'm so tired of hearing it on YouTube, and I'm so tired of hearing it on paranormal teams around the world. This is the most. How do you know it's the most haunted? Have
Mhm.
you been to every place in the country? You know, because I was on YouTube and this guy was like, "This is the most haunted hotel in Texas," and guess where it was? The damn Driscoll Hotel in Austin. Been there, done that, and it's not even close to being haunted.
Well, see, that's like I'm not knocking them because I'm sure people have gotten a lot of evidence there, but Old South Pittsburgh Hospital in Tennessee, there's been so many teams go through there. And before the owners that have it now were there, the owners before that literally let anybody and everybody in there to do whatever they
Hmm.
wanted to do. And but when we went there, I personally didn't get any evidence at all. Like a couple of my we had teams split up everywhere. A couple of my members, one of them got a baby crying in the nursery, and that was on EVP. And then we did get the ding of the elevator when the elevator doesn't work anymore. But I personally, we were there all night long, and I didn't get anything. And I mean, I guess it's to each their own. Some people feel and some people don't. I guess I just wasn't in the right place at the right time. But I
Hmm.
have been places where I paid to be there, and I'm just like, well, I didn't really get anything. But
Yep.
I that's like I've been on a walking tour in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and it's a small one, and we went to the cemetery, but it's really off of a campus, and teenagers were coming or college students were coming in there and everything else, and you couldn't really count anything because it's all contaminated. And so many people go there and know about it, so it's really hard to get evidence. We did get evidence and things like that, but you have to be in the right little locations of the cemetery to get anything.
Yeah, and I also think that you have to present something different. I
Mhm.
think presenting something different would definitely attract more spirits because if it was me, you come to visit me and
Mhm.
you give me this damn cat ball that's been sitting out. I've seen that a million times because, like you say,
Yeah.
there's a million and one paranormal investigator that's already been there. You know,
Yep.
and the first thing I'm gonna do is point my finger at you and get the hell out of here
Yep.
because you're not presenting something to me that piques my curiosity.
Yep.
So
There's
I'm gonna
so
look at
many.
you and like, yeah, I'm gone. I ain't gonna mess with
Yep.
you.
There's so many locations that are over hunted, and they ask the same exact questions. Every single person asks the same questions to these same spirits, and like you said, present the same equipment. And they're like, "Can you touch this? Can you touch that?" They're like, "Dudes, I've done this 1,000 times." They want something new. They want something that,
Something fresh.
yes, something they haven't dealt with, and it's so hard because everybody's got the same type of equipment. So it's like, what can you offer that the other ones wasn't offering?
Yep.
What it,
Facebook user. I have not been to the Emily Morgan house, so I cannot tell you on what exactly that place is about. What about you, Heather? Have you been there?
No, I have not actually been there.
That would be an interesting place to go visit. But once again, the Emily Morgan house has been overrun, I think so, with paranormal investigators left and right. But I am a paranormal investigator. I think as a paranormal investigator, I think you should present new things, new technology,
Mhm.
just for this reason, because I don't want to be a spirit. But when I go, I don't want to be that spirit that, you know, same old, same old. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Hey, you sit here and play with this cat ball. I'm gonna go eat dinner.
Yep.
I'll see you in a couple of hours, man. So I'm gonna fade out into the shadows and let somebody else do that. Somebody that haven't, done it with the cat balls and
Mhm.
all that stuff, and let them have fun. It's not for me.
Yeah.
But then again, there are technologies out there that have not been discovered yet. People are
Mhm.
inventing technologies to the paranormal world every day, but people are so stuck in their ways of using the same old. I mean, I understand what works. Some people say, man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I totally respect that, guys. But we also have to understand that this paranormal book is forever evolving. So we got to find ways to catch up. If we don't find ways to catch up, look, man, we are already 4 pages down in this because whoever's writing this book is they're writing it now. So, the minute they flip that page, you have to flip that page also if you want to keep up on what they're talking about. And if you want to
Mhm.
be able to communicate better and have a better understanding on what's on the other side, we have to come up with new technology. You know what I'm saying? Better ways to communicate, better ways to seeing things, better ways, the whole damn thing. It just got to be a better way for us to evolve because that book is forever turning. Like you say, it's being written right now. So we're gonna have to evolve as paranormal investigators to try to keep up with that book. I'm not saying that we're totally gonna keep up with it, or if we ever gonna catch it, but for us to at least try to get a page up, we're gonna have to try something new.
Yeah.
That's just the way I think. I
Mhm.
could be wrong. A lot of teams agree with me, but I know there's a lot of teams out there that don't agree with me. They're stuck in their ways.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
mean, if you're going to locations where 1,000 people have been there, they get tired of communicating like that. They're like, man, I can't do this anymore. But whenever you go to a new location where nobody's been, um, I do like to start with the basic equipment that they might know, like dowsing rods or something simple to start with until they get used to my equipment. And then I like to bring out my newer stuff, and I have to teach the spirits how to communicate with it and that it's okay. And then they get real curious about it and start dealing with it whenever they've never been around it. They like to
right.
do it.
It's like the I have a bear, the ghost bear.
Yeah, I've got two of those.
You know, some kids might not like that. I'm sorry. Some kids might like that, but you cannot present that to an adult spirit
Mm-mm.
because it might
No,
not work.
no.
You know what I'm saying?
The most action I get, they seem to like my millimeter, and of course they always like the cat balls. But those are so hard because we like to put them somewhere where it can't just move around on its own. Like we had them sitting on the jail cell, and the prisoners, of course, they get bored and they love to use those. And we use the dowsing rods a lot just because I have a lot of energy, and they like
Hmm.
to use my energy with the dowsing rods. Not everybody can use them. A lot of people that just spin around in circles, or they don't have enough energy to for them to use them. But yeah,
Man,
the
you
dowsing
know,
rods are always one of my favorites.
I try using those things, man. I can't get them. I mean, like you say, they're for some people who can and some people who can. I'm one of those people that cannot get it. I
My
don't think.
team likes to make a joke about me and tell me that I can't touch the equipment because I literally have so much energy that I've had 3 computers crash and fry. I've had like countless cameras fry. I've had multiple voice recorders fry, and I can't really use a whole lot of the electronics. I do know how to use a millimeter, but I have to change the batteries in it literally every single
Mhm.
investigation. And our spirit boxes, I can use those, but I literally change the batteries every single time. But I just have so much energy, and they just pull off of that, and the equipment doesn't like me too well.
Yes. Well, you know what, man? Anytime you want to come down here and investigate with me in Texas, feel free. You can show me how those dowsing rods work,
And
because I am really curious on how they work. I know the Native Americans used them to find water. That's
hmm
what I was told.
yes, and
So,
that's like a go to whenever we do the Native American land and things like that. They definitely like to communicate through the dowsing rods. That's one of the easiest ways I've found to communicate with the Native Americans. Whenever
mhm,
we do have members in the group that can speak a little Cherokee, so they tend to talk to them more because they don't really understand what we're saying. They
right.
like to show us pictures, and but they do like playing with the dowsing rods. There's this one little child that I've encountered. He'll just sit there and spin it around and around and around and around.
Oh wow. What's up, Josh? How you doing from South Texas? Appreciate you coming on the show. One of my team members have a pair of LED dowsing rods. They're pretty cool.
Nice. We put glow in the dark tape on ours the other day just so we could see them.
I didn't know there was any such thing as glow in the dark tape. That's something new to me.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to figure that out. How often does the glow in the dark tape works? I mean, how long does that darkness? I mean, how long does that light work?
I mean, we take it off and change it every time, but as long as you charge it in the sunlight beforehand, it works pretty good.
Hmm.
But I've got these tiny little dowsing rods that come with my spirit box, and I've got tiny hands anyway, so everybody makes fun of my dowsing rods because all of theirs are bigger than mine. And they call mine the baby dowsing rods, and then they'll start singing the baby shark song, except they'll say the dowsing rods. I'm like, y'all can call them what you want. They may be small, but it's so much easier for the spirits to use because of them being smaller, and
Hmm.
I get more action off of mine than they do their bigger ones.
Well, yeah. You know, how often, the thing about Texas, I like about Texas is there's a hospital on every location, and I tell everybody this that wants to come down and visit Texas and investigate
Mhm.
in Texas. Uh, let's start with the hospitals. The hospitals. Then you have the recovery, not the what is that called? The rehabilitation centers. Then you have the nursing homes. And what's so great about this, Heather,
Mhm.
is the minute the main hospital shuts down, everything else trickles down because everything is filtered into those other locations. So if the hospital shuts
Yes.
down, it's a good thing that the rehabilitation is going to shut down. Then the nursing home shuts down. And man,
Mhm.
I can only say, man, there is a lot of that going on in Central Texas. They're building hospitals like crazy. So all these locations are being shut down. And I think we've been to two, well, I've been to two nursing homes so far. And I've actually just found the Texas first lunatic asylum.
Oh wow. I want to go
Yeah,
to one so bad.
lunatic. But this thing here is so wide, it's so big, and it's not the average lunatic asylum like up in the Northeast. It's a little
Mhm.
bit different because it's built like a school,
Mhm.
like an old school with the orange brick. I don't know if you ever seen that,
Yes. Yeah.
but you got different locations that are heavily boarded up and all that. And I
Mhm.
was able to actually go and check these places out. Yes, there is an echo going on. So, but I'm unable to find that echo. I don't know.
I
But thanks
still
for
can't
telling
hear
me.
it.
Yeah, I can hear it. Hi, Irene. How you doing? Irene is from Tokyo, Japan. How we doing this evening, buddy? She's doing okay. She's probably baking cookies or something. She's a baker. She be baking cookies. I like cookies. Matter of fact, I love cookies. So yeah, man.
I love cookies. I
Texas
made chocolate
first.
chip ones yesterday.
Oh yeah, Texas. The state of Texas' first lunatic asylum is located right here in Central Texas,
Wow.
and I was able to get on that location.
That is crazy. I bet you got some good evidence.
Well, I was. It was during the day, so I didn't have a chance to investigate it.
Yeah.
And some of the
I
buildings
always like
are,
to carry a voice recorder or a phone app or something just
yeah,
because I never know where I'm going to go.
never know. And I was, and I went to the location where they buried all the people that they couldn't help. I actually went to the cemetery.
Wow.
So it was pretty interesting place
I
that
like to
we're
snap
gonna have to go
pictures
check out.
everywhere I go. I'll take pictures.
Yep. I'm definitely
I'll
gonna
even
go
do a
back and
video just to run a recording.
yeah, and just I definitely got to go back and check that place out. But
Mhm.
in the meantime, Heather, we've been on a show an hour and 27 minutes, buddy, and I've learned a lot about you and your team. But I want to get to learn about a little bit about you a little bit more. All right.
Alrighty.
Everybody has a bucket list. Where would you like to go investigate? Do you have a location that you want to investigate? No matter where, around the world, where would you like to go?
If I had my pick of where I do want to go, and there's been so many reports, I want to go to Gettysburg and go
Okay.
up to their big battlefield. They've got so many areas in that location that there's been so many reported hauntings, like people not even trying to investigate or getting experiences. Everybody gets experiences there. And that's been somewhere that I really want to go one day.
Wow. Somebody put, how far is Savannah from you?
Savannah is about 6 hours from me.
Golly, Georgia ain't that big, is it?
Yes, it's pretty big.
Wow. Well, this gentleman wants to go to Savannah, Georgia.
I love Savannah. There is so many places down there. Like there's a literally somewhere on every corner that is abandoned, like old abandoned houses, and you can just feel the character and you can feel that there's something there. Like you feel the presence. And
Yeah.
every one of their cemeteries underneath all the mossy trees, there's just so much energy.
See, they're
I
knocking.
love the moss in the trees.
Wow. See,
And
stuff
of
like
course, you got
that,
all
they're
the
knocking
swamps
down
too.
here. Wow. Okay. Is there any place you would like to go? Because, man, the battlefield is not too far from you, but a couple hours.
Yeah, it's not too far. And there's
Mm,
also like a place. I've been so close. I've seen the lighthouse, St. Augustine Lighthouse, but I haven't gotten to
hmm.
go into it. And so many people have gotten so much activity there. I was like, well, I want to experience that for myself too.
Yeah, I
But
think
I
Tap
have very
with that
big
place.
bucket list. Yeah,
Okay. Wow. The first.
And there's
Let's
some
see.
places up near Washington that I want to go.
Yeah, there's a lot, man. There's a lot up there. Anything on the East Coast, there's a lot going on. From Pennsylvania, from the not the Civil War, but the American Revolution, all the way down to South Carolina, North Carolina, all those places down there, man. I'm pretty sure there are plenty of places to investigate.
Yeah.
Not
Now,
just that. You could probably go
somewhere that I would
investigate.
love to go, but I'm scared to go to, would be Mexico, because you hear so many stories and everything is real in Mexico, and you don't mess with the things in Mexico. And that would be somewhere I would love to go, but I'd be so scared to investigate there.
Well, I'm trying to get a paranormal team to come on the show from the islands, from the Caribbean.
Really?
But I am having such a hard time locating because when you're at the islands, man, everything is totally different
Mhm.
because you're dealing with uh, voodoo, you're dealing with,
Yep.
things that you can't even imagine. Stuff that comes from Africa, from,
Yeah,
the
there's a lot of
slaves.
dark witchcraft over there.
Yeah, it's a lot of dark stuff. But you
Yes.
won't believe how many I've just been reaching out for that special someone, a paranormal investigator from the I don't even care what island it's from. Jamaica,
Mhm.
I don't care, but they all preach the same thing to me. But I want somebody to have on the show and they can tell me their stories about what's going on over there because I know paranormal is
Yes.
like 10 times fold.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, those are definitely hot spots.
Definitely. And I would love to go down there and investigate, hopefully come back. But
Yes.
you never know. You never know. Well, you know what, Heather? An hour and 32 minutes, man. And I appreciate you coming on the show. In the meantime,
Well,
tell the
thank you so
world how to
much for
get a
inviting
hold
me.
of Heather Hartman.
Yeah, I've been honored to be here.
All right. Well, tell the world how to get a hold of you if they ever in Georgia and they want to come investigate and and just want to hang out with you guys.
Well, we have a Facebook page at Southern Bells Paranormal Society. You can reach out to me on there. We're also on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We have Weebly, and it's all the same. It's all Southern Bells Paranormal and Society. You can also reach out to us on our email. It's sbps13 at yahoo.com. There's many
Hmm.
different ways that you can reach us out. We're on most social medias. We have a little bit on YouTube, but we don't have a whole lot. Most of our stuff is on TikTok or Facebook. But yeah, you can reach us on all of those places.
Okay. Cool. Or you could just call them like I did.
Yes. Yeah, my number's on all of our websites.
And that's a good thing because I think a lot of paranormal, and I know people like to have their privacy, but if you want to get reached out, I mean, and I understand that you have an email, but it might be a point where you just might miss an email. So
Mhm.
it's always good to have that contact, that business contact number to want to
Yes.
so somebody can reach out to you. You know what, Heather? It has been a pleasure talking to you. I really enjoyed it, and I'm hoping that one day that we can get the team on.
Yes, I hope so. And I'm
So
definitely
I
going to reach
can.
out to my friend in Texas and
Yes,
see if I
please.
can't get her on here next time and see if I can't get y'all an investigation.
That would be awesome. I mean, because the minute you said in the Central Texas, hey, I'm right here. You can't get no Central than Austin, Cedar Park, Round Rock area.
Yeah.
Because I'm right here in the heart of Texas. So if she's somewhere close, then we will find her.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
she
saying?
loves
And
doing it and she loves investigating, and She said it's a 200 like a 200-year-old house or something like that.
Oh wow, that definitely would be interesting. Okay, well, you know what? If you can do that research for me and get back to me, hey, I will gladly appreciate that.
I definitely will.
All right. Well, you know what? You enjoy the rest of your evening, my friend. Go grab something to
Thank you so
eat,
much, and you too.
watch a movie, eat some ice cream. You know, that's what I'm fixing to go do. So, but in the
Yeah.
meantime, hey
Well, it's
Heather,
almost
you.
bedtime here because it's almost 10 o'clock here.
Oh, it's just 8:40 here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
9:40
So,
here.
oh wow. So okay. Well, I don't want to keep you up anymore.
Oh, you're
You go and
fine,
enjoy the rest of your evening, my friend.
and you as well.
All right. Hey, guys, this is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast on Sunday Evening Podcast with Southern Belle Paranormal from Dalton, Georgia. If you guys got anything that you want to say to her, you want to reach out to her, she gave you all the information so you can. But in the meantime, you guys enjoy the rest of the evening. Heather, I hope to hear from you soon now.
Definitely.
Hey, guys, peace. Bye, Heather. All right. I am trying to figure out where that echo came from. Hey, guys, that was Heather from Paranormal from Dalton, Georgia. For those of you that are on Instagram, hey, really appreciate you guys reaching out to me. Hey, I'm going to start doing this a little bit more. But you know what? My battery's about to run down. So I got to say goodbye to you guys. Hey, feel free to check out this podcast. And if you want to reach out to her, feel free to do so. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Georgia's a very interesting place. You guys want to go investigate there? Hey, contact that young lady or contact any other paranormal team in Georgia. And so we can get you guys over there. Irene, don't say bye just yet, because I will be calling you here shortly, buddy. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, peace. See you guys later. Bye. Oh man, what happened there? All right. And now I'm going to share that.
What happens when you decide to touch the props?
I don't know. But anyway, guys, as I was saying is, if you guys want to reach out to her, feel free to do so. But I'm about to get out of here, man, and about to go grab me something to eat. Hopefully, this ending intro will work for me. I don't know what's wrong with my internet, but it's been acting kind of crazy lately. So I am going to try this, and hopefully it will work. If not, you guys will understand. So in the meantime, let's see if I can get out of here.
Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in